Buckle up and fasten your seatbelts as we take on Ark's most notorious and arguably most difficult mod. This is Primal Fear, and I have just 100 days to beat it. I mean, that's the plan, but I have never really played this mod before, so here I am on day 1. And I'm bloody impressed that I didn't load in next to a bajillion things that want to kill me. I put on some clothes and found my first victims. This Dodo and this Lystro gave me my very first bit of hide. I felt a little bad for murderizing them, so I went to take a dip and wash away my sins. I spotted a Sako and thought,
oh hell no!
And I booked it out of there. I checked my map and saw that there was a forest titan.
Okay.
That's good to know. I was starting to feel like this mod wouldn't be so bad after all. And then I got the fright of my life.
Oh! Oh god, that made me jump.
Now if you know me in real life, you know that I am not a fan of the 8-legged crawly thing. But I woke up in a literal nightmare when I saw this.
Oh no, no, no. Those are tarantulas, oh my god.
Horde of them? Oh, duck.
Oh no, I don't want this.
No, iguanodon. Become bait. Yes.
Oh my god.
Yuck.
They took down that poor iguanodon in seconds. I ran for my life until the raptor was kind enough to put me out of my misery.
I ran out of stamina.
On second thoughts, he may have been there to torture me, because I woke up again next to a green, toxic tarantula. I swiftly ran the other direction to be faced with this abomination.
Oh hell no!
I don't have a spy cast yet, so I've got no idea what I'm dealing with. All I know is that I think I would rather take my chances with the spider.
Hi.
I don't know why I thought it would get stuck on this log, but I decided to try and spear it, as if this was ever going to end well. Big brain move, duck. Big brain move. When I respawned, I had to make all of the basics again. When I saw this parrot. Oh, Chanel! I chased after it. Take my berries and love me. Your name shall be Chanel.
Another Chanel.
It would be rude not to get Chanel a friend, and also call it Chanel. We killed a dodo and a carbonemus to get some hide and keratin, and I made my first bed, because this little corner of the land seemed to be safe, so I decided to make it my home. I put down some wooden foundations and walls, grinding out the resources I needed as I go. I made a little fire to cook a bit of dodo's steak, and then I crafted a little box to put in my goodies. As the sun was setting and the rain was falling, I made as much as I could before the resources ran out, so Chanel and I spent the night huddled by the fire to keep warm. Not a bad way to end the first day. I woke up on day 2 and saw this glowing red mist in the water. What the heck is this? Probably not a good idea to go in the water, but I had to check it out. Okay, the Bruce doesn't look friendly. Noted.
Hello?
Then this low-level Pelagornis landed right in front of my face, and I jumped at the opportunity to get an early game flyer. I knocked it out but got distracted by this white drop. New hatchet, nice. But on my way back I got jumped by this pack of compies. Stay back, you heathens! More hide, woohoo! Chanel and I ran all the way back home. This dingbat tried to tame a Pelagornis with dodo steak.
You idiot! You're honestly an idiot!
So I took a dip, keeping my eyes on the glowing Bruce. But as I started to swim to sea, I saw glowing red eyes heading straight my way and swam back to shore.
Oh my god.
What is that?
I don't know.
Is that a shark?
A shark.
Oh my god. Oh, Primal Fear scary.
I ran further down the beach to see if there were any fish nearby, when I saw my Chanel had been murdered.
A Chanel.
So I raced back, dodging the buffed up Bruce to see her body stretched out across the sands. I finally found a fish to carve up, got out a nervous poop before finally giving the Pelagornis some fish. Problem was, when it tamed up, this Styracosaurus aggroed to him. Instead of running away, I decided to throw some spears in its general direction before hitting it. I'm such a silly goose. I respawned just in time to see it had killed my new Pelagornis. And my Chanel! No, Chanel!
My parrot's gone! She's an African grey and named Chanel. Chanel!
I made a mortar and pestle, placed it down, but I couldn't make enough cementing paste for what I needed. So I went for a stroll, but ran into some big nopes and went back to the relative safety of the beach. I saw some chitin that I poked a few times till I got the goodies I was after. The beefed up Bruce was still hanging around my base when I got back, so I went on the defense and threw my spears. I teabagged him to assert my dominance, a decision I'm sure I will regret. I made the rest of the cementing paste I needed for a tombstone, a mod I'm playing with that will allow me to recover my inventory after I die. I gave my new frenemy a few pokes on the way out to look what was down the beach from me. It was in fact not a safe beach, so I thought Herbivore Island. Got a little bit of thatch that I was missing so I could make a canoe. Put it in the water and named it Duck's New. My new friend came to inspect the new. I paddled straight past him as he didn't seem to aggro once I was in it. I was halfway there when the buffed up Bruce made a beeline for me. He was gaining speed quick, and then with one bite, he ended my dreams. Early hours of day 3. This 120 PT landed in the neighbourhood, so I knocked him out and treated him to some of my meat. I made a torch whilst I waited for the sun to come up so I can see. I farmed some resources and made a forge. Then I made myself another canoe. I took a quick peek and couldn't see Beefcake Bruce, so I placed the canoe and made a break for it. It was looking good until I saw the yellow bubble of death. The turning circles on canoes is not so great, so I couldn't run away and another chomp. 2-0 to Bruce. I spawned back at base, retrieved my stuff to see that my PT had tamed, but I was not a high enough level to make a saddle. I went for a run to try and gain some levels when this giant red aloe aggroed to me. My instincts told me to run home, but I realised I couldn't let it know where I live. So I ran towards the danger when it inevitably caught up and had some fresh duck for lunch. Ooh! I farmed up some more thatch to revisit my canoe idea when... Ooh! I spawned somewhere random as I couldn't get back home and decided to go find some explorer notes. Found out that tech creatures are aggressive, and then went to find 3 notes that I knew were on this little island. I ran out of stam crossing the lake to get back home. Despite having my head above water, I drowned. Cordova. I spawned back home and luckily my PT was still alive and there was no sign of the primal aloe. Or so I thought.
Oh no! No! Where's my PT? Ah, just fucking kill me. Get it over with.
I thought it had wandered off, but we bumped into each other on the other side of my base. I tried to get its attention and lead it away, but somehow it managed to boot me through the cliff and sent me hurtling to my death. Time to make another break for Herbie Island. I jumped in the canoe and almost immediately had to make a U-turn. Please sir, just leave me alone. Persistence pays off, right? Under the cover of darkness, I made my final attempt to migrate to Herbivore Island. And I made it! Praise Jesus!
Praise Jesus!
I got an explorer note and then harvested up some bodies for a nice amount of hide. I spent the rest of the night farming metal nodes so I could work on getting some metal tools. I got to work straight away the next morning. I started on farming resources to make some gates to protect me. Got the gateways down and then needed some stone to make the gates. I was in my own world trying to get it done when... I spawned back at my base and needed fibre to make another canoe. And a PT saddle as I was finally at the level that I could make one. I got the canoe down and managed to sneak past Bruce and got back to the island. My luck took a turn as this high level PT landed near me. I bowled her up. I knocked her out and gave her some steak so she would join the quack pack. Check out the Discord link below if you would also like to be part of the Quack Pack. Remember to like the video if you're enjoying it and comment below how many times you think I will die in this challenge. I waited around for ages for this thing to be tamed up, but finally I had my wings and took to the skies. I stopped to get an explorer note before flying back home. Try to get me now, Bruce. Now I was safe in the air. I went to check and yes, the aloe is still there. Oh, and yes, the Indominus Rex is still there, just marvellous. I parked my PT inside so she was safe while I went AFK. I took my PT out this time with a mission. I got jump scared by a loud noise, looked down to see this white light. No idea what caused that and I don't really want to find out. I finally got a little bit of crystal when I realised I hadn't made any metal tools yet. I thought I would try my luck and managed to get a tiny bit, just enough for what I needed. Took a long trip back home and finally managed to make an awesome spyglass. Finally crafted a smithy so I could make those much needed metal tools. I took off to go back and get more crystal and I found the forest titan, but I was in no position to go near that thing yet. So I went and harvested the rest of the crystal and a good amount of metal. I stopped to get a green drop and then worked tirelessly to upgrade my base to stone, farming and building bit by bit. All day until finally I placed the last ceiling and my little base was complete. With my new PT, we avenged Chanel. I finally made a primal smithy and had a little browse through the items. I made myself a meat spoiler and then boarded up my PT so she was safe and went inside for the night. The morning of day 6. Let there be light! I started to make my first batch of narcotics, but I didn't have the seeds needed to make the first tier of primal narcotics, so I settled for normal trank arrows. This noxious trike had been hanging around for a while and thought maybe they would make a good member of the Quack Pack. This trike is from the Noxious Creatures mod, so it does deal torpor with its attack. I ran out of arrows, so I had to stop and get some more berries when he snuck up on me. I took so long to get this guy down, but in the end, we were victorious. I stood guard until they woke up. I named him Trike Tyson. We immediately got to work farming up berries. This pronto wandered into my territory. So what better way to test Trike Tyson's knockout ability? Dang, that's insane! I decided to tame up the Bronto to see if he was any better at gathering berries. When he woke up, I named him Charles Bronto. I went to make him a saddle, but again, I was not a high enough level. God damn it!
God damn it!
Trike Tyson and I spent the rest of the day farming and headed home for nightfall. I was doing some early morning farming when Captain Reptile came to visit me and showed me his noxious pteranodon.
Hello.
And I wanted one.
We're in an alliance.
He told me where he found his, so I set off to go find my very own. But I got distracted by some explosions. I realised I should make an early start on kibble, so started to tame up this dodo. There was a toxic dodo nearby, so killed that for some loot. New crossbow and a new pick. Thank you very much. Demonic monkeys made it clear that I'd overstayed my welcome.
Oh my god.
I found a noxious pteranodon. However, as I got there, I couldn't land because the server was crashing. I was safe when I loaded back in, however the noxious PT was nowhere to be seen. I flew around as night drew in. I didn't find anything other than this explorer note. I flew over to the volcano as I needed some obsidian. But while I'm here, it would be rude not to top up on some metal and crystal. I flew via the redwoods on the way home to see how bad it was when I saw a noxious PT. I flew down to make a move when the Microraptor pounced me. I got back on track, bowled the PT, knocked it out and stood very nervously waiting for it to tame up. The second it woke up, I saddled it, fed it an XP potion and got the hell out of there. Back at base, I had some new neighbours. So with my new PT, I knocked them out and killed them for levels. Whilst farming for more berries, this little poop machine came over, so we allowed him to join the gang. This will be a great addition so I can make a good early start on my farm. Lord knows I'm going to need to get a garden going soon. I needed that obsidian from the other day to make a primal pike. I had 2 blueprints to choose from. I chose the Mastercraft as there is not much difference in damage. Then I hid in my base, waiting for the next day to arrive. I put my primal pike to the test. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. They are both females. Good news for me. Give me all the eggs. My max level is 300, so I couldn't resist this level 290 trike, but I kind of forgot it could knock me out. Also, didn't realise it could climb.
Oh, mistakes were made.
Was waiting to see what kind of PT this was when a thorny dragon decided to come and have a go at me.
God damn it.
Back to the trike, and I finally chased him down. I got the XP note near my base and spent the evening killing and farming to level up both me and the new trike Tyson, until I was finally a high enough level to make the Bronto saddle. I thought he would be better at farming the narco and tinterberry seeds, as I needed them to make the potent narcotic. But to be honest, I was not impressed. It did get me enough to make a bunch of narcotic, but only enough seeds to make 6 potent narcotic. I had a look, and I would need a lot more seeds for the next tier of narcotics. So I threw out the dodos, as I totally forgot about them, so I could start my egg collection. I tried to make a soul terminal, but was short on resources, so instead I made a fabby. Cooked up some gasoline. So on the morning of day 10, I started making polymer. I farmed some more stone as I needed cementing paste, until finally I could make a soul terminal and a soul gun. I picked up my little dodos and put them in the terminal and turned on the egg generation. I had a look at what I'd needed to make the first tier of kibble, which is toxic. I need to start working on a greenhouse to get the veggies on the go, so I placed down 4 foundations, 4 crop plots, and started to make the greenhouse. Of course I was short on crystal, so I took another trip to the volcano to farm as much as I could carry. I also realised I didn't have a preserving bin yet, so chucked one of them down and spent the rest of the day farming just to make this little 4x4 greenhouse. I got up early in the morning and started to make the pipes that I needed to irrigate my greenhouse. I put in the seeds, threw out my Phiomia and force fed in some stimberries, and she let it rip.
It's burning!
Popped in some poop to get started whilst I made a compost bin, and then made some fertiliser. I decided to name my PT Ronda Rousey. We took off to go find an iguanodon so I could make some seeds. Came across this terrifying situation.
Oh my god, what is happening?
Oh, don't get too low. Oh my god.
Not sure I want to find out what that is anytime soon. Ronda Rousey took down the iguanodon with ease. I was a little scared because I could hear a bunch of explosions. Chaos Bee. Not terrifying at all. Named the iguanodon Iggy Azaleodon. With the garden and egg laying on the go, I could make my very first toxic kibble, and I was feeling accomplished.
Yay!
I ventured out early morning and tamed my very first toxic dodo. I found an explorer note along the beach and killed a fable trike on the way home to make the most out of the XP buff. Back home, I decided to put my first toxic dodo in the terminal. I also forgot I put the Phiomia in there to generate poop, so moved that over to the compost bin. I knocked out this noxious theory as I needed it to gather rare flowers. As I was taking care of a troublesome raptor, this primal Carno wandered over and obliterated my knocked out theory.
Oh, that was my theory!
I then watched this same Carno battle with a demonic Mesopithecus. The Carno won. I waited for the Carno to chuck a K and get distracted by something, then I swooped down to take the loot. There was some good loot. Back in the redwoods, I found another theory. I tried to kill this corrupted fable trike nearby, but he hit hard.
Oh, you hurt.
Take 2. I knocked it out, and just as I was feeding it, I heard a bunch of explosions, so I flew out the way just in time to see there was a reaper hot on my tail. Unfortunately, this theory didn't make it. I tamed up another noxious pteranodon though on the way home. I spent the rest of the night gardening and being salty about the 2 theories that had died. Day 13, I knocked out another toxic dodo. On the journey home, I saw a bag and decided to stop to steal the loot. Unfortunately, while I was distracted, Ronda Rousey was targeted by this primal tech raptor. I have now learnt that they are aggressive. I hesitated to help, but when she fell, I ran for the hills. The raptor was chasing me. I was running straight towards a giant thing, a Captain Black Boulder? I had no option but to hope it wasn't aggressive. But I was wrong, and it sent its minions to chase me. My stam was running low, I was running out of space, so I decided to 360 and try my luck in the water.
Oh my god. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Those fly things are gonna get you.
It did not go in my favour. I respawned and managed to make 2 toxic kibble. Good job I had this extra PT I tamed. I fed that an XP potion and headed back to tame up my new Dodo. Of course I had to stop and say hello to my new friend Beefcake Bruce. I think he's really starting to like me. I woke up to the rain, so decided it was time to finish the rest of my ceiling. I found a decent level Noxious Theory close to my base. As I was trying to knock it out, I got swiped and fell to the ground. Luckily, I didn't have too far to go to rescue my Noxious PT. I force-fed her some stimberries, not realising I had some stimulant in my inventory. Duh! I went back for round 2 and knocked him out. Whilst waiting for him to tame up, I found another toxic dodo on the beach, so recruited her also. Give me all the eggs! I made a Theory saddle, and whilst waiting for it to tame, I decided to expand my greenhouse a little. Iggy, Azaleodon and I farmed up a few berries until finally Theory was tamed. We headed over to the swamp to finally farm up some rare mushrooms and flowers ready for the next tier of kibble. I decided to get my grind on, and I made 4 alpha kibble and started the day by taming my first alpha creature, a dillo to lay me some alpha eggs. Also found a male alpha dodo that I tamed up, and then found him a girlfriend that I brought back home. I put my alpha creatures in the terminal so they could start making me some alpha eggs ready for the next tier. I expanded the base a little as I was running out of room. I finally managed to make some alpha armor. I had a look to see if I could make any more kibble, and to my surprise I could make the next tier, which was elemental. I just needed to cook some prime meat, and voila! I have 2 elemental kibble. I saw an electric parrot, and this was the beginning of a very stressful time. First, I didn't realise the electric would drain my stam. Then I was sat here unable to hit the bloody parrot. So I decided to dismount, and then my PT flew up to battle and I couldn't get her down. The parrot eventually gave up. I spent far too long trying to bowler it and then poked it for as long as I could before I pegged it. But it got its revenge. Day 16, I tried to net gun this caustic parrot. I did not see this Origin RG that hunted me down. I flew back to rescue Ronda Rousey II, but made it there just in time to watch her die. That's all that really happened this day.
No!
Well, besides Gamer K sending me a picture of her chihuahua. Enjoy! Time to brave the cold and harvest some oil. I thought I could get myself a bit of polymer too, until these penguins charged at me.
Oh god, the penguins are aggressive. Oh, it's a rocket penguin?
Oh.
What? Oh my god!
Oh my god, don't go near that.
No!
These exploding pingus killed all their buddies, so I swooped down to grab the polymer that was just lying around. I got a bit greedy and tried to get some more when
I died.
back at home, I tamed up this alpha PT as I needed a stronger flyer. I found and tamed a breeding pair of noxious pteranodons and saw my first crab of the challenge. My eyes just saw polymer. My new alpha PT took a while to take him down, but he finished in the end. That's what's important. I gave the PTs a corner to do their business, and I made a generator whilst I was waiting for the egg. I hatched the egg and spent the night raising the baby, ready to go on new adventures together. I tested out my new PT by taking out a local visitor for some XP. I found another elemental parrot. This didn't go very well either. I tried to net gun it, but that failed. Luckily, it lost aggro so I could get some heals. I flew back to rescue my PT and tried again with a low-level ice parrot. I got 1 hit and then it bullied me.
Let me fucking hit you!
I hid behind a rock and managed to get in a hit. And another one. Finally, I got it down. Took care of the piranha and realised I forgot to bring the kibble, so went back to base, and as I was about to fly back, I realised it was not on the tracker. It had died. The next day, I went back with my Theory as it dealt more torpor. Finally, I got myself this ice parrot and saw a max level electric parrot nearby. I could not resist. Took me a long ass time to get any hits on it, and as I was nearly there, this bloody thing flew away. I chased her down and landed the last shot with my PT. She also went down in the water, but I tamed her up and fought the piranhas again on the way out. Look at all my eggs! And I added the parrots in to start my elemental egg collection. I made some alpha infused trank darts. Didn't need it though, as 112 from the PT and he was out. Got myself some more polymer and chitin from a crab down the beach a little. I went for an explorer note on the mountain and came face to face with this terrible sight. A high level primal giga. No thank you, not today, Satan.
Yay, Satan.
I got myself some crystal and metal and tried to take the loot from the carcass. The Kentro said no. The next morning, I tried to get myself an alpha RG, but I ran out of stam. It probably would have been fine, but this primal tech raptor had other ideas. Back home, I hatched a few more eggs and imprinted them. I named this one Hulk. When Hulk was fully grown, I mounted him and killed a few things for levels. Got a jump scare whilst flying around, but came across another explorer note. I was looking for another RG, but there were scary things in the mountains, so I went home, stopping off to get this yellow drop on the way. As the sun rose, I saw this max level Dodicarus, so I knocked it out and saw a high level Alpha Rex nearby. I don't really have any tame, so thought they would both be a good start. Now I just needed a good level RG, so I built a trap near one that I had found, and after missing the first time, I managed to kite it in on the second try. Problem was, I didn't realise I had trapped an Apex RG, not an Alpha, and I don't have the kibble for an Apex yet. So I marked the location on the map and I will come back to tame it. I was flying home over the swamp when I entered this black cloud of death, narrowly escaping with my life. My poor Hulk! He was not looking good. Back home, I checked what I needed to make the Apex kibble. All I needed was jerky, and luckily I had some on me from the loot crate, so I was able to make 7 Apex kibble. I made some more jerky just in case I needed it in the future. I saddled up my new Rex and took him for a test drive. I tried to take on this thing, but in this cloud of dust I got killed by a spirit therizinosaur. Didn't even get to see it, so I decided to leave the area and farm in the swamp for the rest of the night. I went back for the Apex RG. This will definitely be a good addition. My Hulk knocked him out and he was all mine. I picked up my trap and went home to get a good look at the thing that killed my Rex. This thing looks insane. I tried to get revenge, but it didn't work out in my favour. Hulk, buddy, I'm so sorry. I threw out my new friend and made her a saddle. I had to wait for my new PT to grow up, so I decided to place down a teleporter from the awesome teleporters mod I am playing with. I named it Sweet Home Alabama. I asked my Discord what I should name my 2 new tames. The Doed was named Dwayne the Rocker Johnson. The RG was named Raven, another suggestion from Adrian. Thanks guys! My new friends and I spent the night farming. I very carefully tested out Raven on this Gigantopithecus with a chainsaw. I narrowly escaped some rockets, but the hit and run technique paid off. Raven was doing some good damage. I went on a killing spree to get even more levels in her, but then I came across this broodmother. I decided to let everything else get its health low and then I swooped in for the kill. Oh yeah! I tried to get revenge on this thing that killed me earlier, but saw I did hardly any damage. So I flew away and instead thought I would try and fight my first wandering loot boss. Because, well, I wanted loot. I was not prepared for everything to aggro to me though.
Oh no!
Luckily, Raven handled it like a champ.
Oh, I'm gonna die, 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 I'm gonna die. Maybe not, maybe not, maybe not.
Day 25. I'm quarter of the way through this challenge, so I decided to make some behemoth gates and place them down. I'm not sure how much they can protect me though. I'd done some more farming as I was going through stone like no one's business. I decided to expand the base again. Built myself some nice high walls, a second floor with some railings and a little outside patio area. I spent half the next day looking for another good level RG. I found this max level. As I was trying to kill everything around it so I could trap it, this loot boss came charging at me, so I booked it out of there. I headed to the snow and found my first Megapithecus. Despite its crazy health, I took it out and I felt confident. Until it killed me off the back of my mouth. Lesson learned. I went back on my PT and sent Raven in on her own. It was a long battle and I thought things were going to take a turn for the worse when she got pinned against this rock, but she pulled through and we won! I found an RG I wanted, so I built a trap. Made sure there was a gap so I could fit through, placed the doors down and took a nibble of the RG to get its attention. Duck here was a silly goose and couldn't have placed the trap at a better angle. Attempt 1 failed. I did a loop to try and get him in a second time and things just went from bad to worse and I died again. Time to go on the 10 billionth rescue mission. I went back to the RG and decided to use the PT to knock it out, seeing as I failed at the trap. It went down, popped in some kibble and a tame helper and it was all mine. As soon as I got home, I threw them out and put them on mating. Made an aircon and hatched some eggs until I got the perfect male and female. Made some alpha health potions and a new fridge for all my goodies whilst I waited for them to grow up. I tried to make a chem bench but I needed some electronics, so I headed out to try find some silica pearls to make them. There was a manticore right where I needed to be. I went down to the beach and grabbed a little and there was an orange incarno. Great. I waited for the manticore to leave and finally grabbed some silica pearls. I ran up the beach a bit away from the manticore when I had to stop for a snack, and that is when I got tag teamed by the noxious RG that knocked me out and a scorpion that tried to kill me. I took on some Primal Tech Raptors with my new RG. Didn't realise they could dismount you.
Oh no, I got dismounted.
I went over to rescue her, but just as I got there, she died. R.I.P. Cranberry.
No!
I made the next tier of narcotic and finally built my chem bench so I could make gunpowder to make the Apex infused bullets. Realised I needed sap to make the gun though, so I made a sap tap but needed metal for the tree platform. Farmed a buttload of metal and made an Ingy forge when I got back. I named my noxious PT Tyler with a P and named the new RG Cranberry 2, seeing as the original one didn't last very long. I gave my new Cranberry an XP potion and pumped all the levels. Then we flew to the redwoods with some scary explosions to place the tree platform and some sap taps and a teleporter. I got a blueprint for the primal rifle and leveled up more. I was doing good damage and I felt brave enough to take on a demon monkey. I started the attack and run approach. When I saw how much damage I was doing, I got brave and went all in. But then I got some missiles thrown in my face. I never learn. Another rescue mission.
Oh my god, Cranberry!
And Cranberry was hurting. I took her home and nursed her back to full health. That was close. I didn't have enough to get the Goliath rifle, so I made a normal primal rifle and my first set of Apex armor. I went out farming for polymer and electronics, and then I saw the Forest Titan. I can take this with my Cranberry, right? Easy. And I unlocked some tech. Nice. I tamed up an Alpha Anki that I found on Metal Mountain. Then I literally spent most of the afternoon farming all the metal and obsidian. Hopefully I will never have to farm metal again. I popped a tracker into Cranberry, and just as well, because I saw the demon monkey and wanted to get revenge, but I didn't realise his attack had AoE. I just thought he shot missiles at your face. Found my first artefacto and knew I would need many artifacts. I didn't know how hard he would hit. Turns out he just dismounts you. More polymer, thank you. My first time seeing an origin penguin. Those things are huge. An ice griffin. This will be perfect. I need a tame that I can shoot from the back of, so I tamed it up and fed it some XP potions. I do not want to lose this guy. He didn't do amazing damage, but that isn't his purpose. Narrowly missed that one. Hampter from my Discord named the Ice Griffin Sky Shatter. I still didn't have enough resources to make the Goliath Primal Rifle, so I made a mining drill to help with the resource gathering. But whilst out, I found this beast, a necrotic wyvern. This thing looks insane. It did kill me, but that did not deter me. I eventually knocked him out. I ran home to make some kibble and tamed up this beast. He has a crazy attack where he shoots a ball of blue fire that does an AoE damage. I tried it out on a Primal Megalodon, but not powerful enough to take down this tier of dino, so I spent the rest of the day killing things from a safe distance to level up. I tried my luck with another artifacto, but I forgot that it can dismount me. Silly goose.
You big silly goose.
I found another artifacto a little closer and used the attack and run away method with Cranberry. This tactic worked and we managed to take down the artifacto and get our rewards. I needed to tame a boss. I found the Megapithecus, but my bullets seemed to be useless. I think I need to grind and make a better rifle. I even tried my Noxious PT, but the torpor dropped like crazy. So I tried my luck with a Manticore. And it went just as expected, another dead duck. I went to collect some of my sap and heard some terrifying explosions that came from this demonic capro, as if capros weren't scary enough. I ran into a high-level necrotic wyvern. After wasting the previous day just flying around, I thought maybe I could find a female and have a baby wyvern. An imprinted one would be so much better, right? I tamed the high-level male and found this not as good female, but I got them both anyway. I named my PT Luigi and threw out both the new wyverns, but they couldn't breed. Great. Made my first bit of elemental advanced kibble and tamed a dark featherlight. Found a light featherlight in the swamp, and then I got bullied by this caustic Archaeopteryx. It knocked me out. I rushed to get Luigi out of there, but I didn't have time to feed him a health potion and down he went. I hatched and imprinted yet another PT. Managed to take down this max level dark parrot, but then had to deal with the local pickpockets that were stealing my stuff. Then got a female dark parrot to start my feather farm. So back home I hitched them up so they could eat cake by the ocean. Gamer K named my necrotic wyvern
Ike?
and this is when we discovered we had some major differences.
I like Spike. Like from Buffy the Vampires.
He was pretty cool, but I was an angel girl.
I was a Spike girl.
Oh wait, were you Edward or Jacob?
Jacob.
What?
Is that it? Is our friendship now done?
I don't know. I don't know how to process this.
Are you in shock?
I am. You like Spike now, you like Jacob?
It had been a while since I had been to the sap taps and I had a good amount in there. Back home I had an unwanted visitor. A buffoon Fearox had gotten some advice on primal fear from the resident expert, Mr. Natural Causes, and he told me a buffoon terrorbird or a buffoon Fearox would be a good start to help me kill primals. I had to shoot it, as it would just one-shot my PT if I tried to use it. I was told that the primal compound bow did 3.5 times more torpor than the rifle. I made some apex trank arrows and had a close encounter with a grenade. I would peek over the top to get a shot in on the Fearox. This is the shoot and run or die method.
No!
I finally got out the Fearox, shoved in the kibble, and finally, I feel like I've made a good bit of progress. I then tried to knock out this Indom Rex. I wasn't doing great with the arrows, so I brought out the PT. Till I got stuck inside him and died.
No!
I spent a long time getting him knocked out, only to realise I couldn't tame him. A quick Google later, and I found out they are not knockout tames. You have to get the female to low health and then they would lay eggs. I am so stupid. I didn't realise my Sky Shatter had a bleed effect on. No, don't die! No! So I tried to get the female down to 10% health and it killed her. I am so stupid. Whilst innocently farming, I had my first encounter with the Dodo of Death. I found its friend on the beach. It had torpor, so I thought I could tame it. But I couldn't. As it was knocked out, I thought it was safe to kill. Turns out, it is not safe. Next was a trip to the redwoods because I needed honey. I need 50 so I can make a beehive and never have to come back here again. The entire day was spent grappling up to the hives and running away, trying not to die. But it is the redwoods, so of course that was never going to happen. But it was all worth it as I finally got my beehive. Veggie cake time, baby! Picked up my first snail, took them home, knocked them out and tamed them up. Back to the swamp, and it wasn't too hard to find a second one to take back home to sweet home Alabama. Time for some snail babies, yeah! I farmed some metal with my Anki, but realised the mining drill is better. And back home I finally managed to make a grinder. I had forgot that I had my snails on breeding, so I'd made a bit of a mess. As I was clearing it up, a dodo took out some of my gates. I threw out the babies to grow up, and now my snail farm is done. I was still short on resources to make the good compound bow, so I made more cementing paste and went to farm some more obsidian. I made myself a mind wipe tonic, slurped that sucker down and put all the points into crafting skill. I made an ascendant primal compound bow. Then Spike and I went out and took on and killed our first primal. It gave me a freaking primal compound bow, better than the one I spent ages grinding for. Typical. After grinding some primals, I finally made some primal infused narcotic, then spent literally all night and half the morning fighting my first origin raptor on Kano Island. Till at long last, I did it. I finally had enough for the Goliath trank gun, so I mind wiped and made one of those. Took a shot at trying to KO this angry Harambe. But even with this low level, I just wasn't dealing enough torpor, so I cut my losses, killed another primal on the way home, knocked out my first female PT. Low level, but I only needed her for our eggs. Then got another high level female. And to complete the set, a high level male. Immediately I put down a soul terminal and let the meat cake by the ocean. Then I got myself a new flyer and imprinted him. I made a couple of fridges to store all my eggs in, and then realised I needed to power up my gardener. So I made a beer barrel and got the beer brewing. I fed the gardener and then worked on planting some more veggie. First thing I tested out was my new fabled friend. Impressive speed. And damage isn't bad either. I found a pair of Apex Indoms and decided to try and get an egg. Now, I remembered that to do this you need to get it down to 10% health. My PT took a swing, but he didn't do much damage. They also regen health rather quickly. So I got out my Sky Shatter and took a couple of bites, watching out for the bleed damage, careful not to kill her. Took me a while before I noticed I had done it and she had laid an egg. Only problem was her raptor minions pounced me. I couldn't get back to Sky Shatter quick enough, so they killed me. I tried to lead them away as best as I could and took my chance and swooped down, ran and got the egg. Someone got in a bit of a nibble, but we were fine. I threw out my egg and waited for it to hatch, and I had my own baby Indom. She was taking ages to grow though, so I made my first batch of Omega Kibble whilst I was waiting, as I wanted to tame this Rex. Sky Shatter tanked some hits whilst I got him down and tamed him up. I then found a low-level girlfriend for him, as I started taming this wandering loot boss through a spanner in the works. It got a bit dicey, so I picked up Sky Shatter, and that's when I got killed by a Primal Tech Raptor. The next day's footage got corrupted, but you didn't miss much. I went back and got the female and bred up some Omega Rexes. I tamed a unicorn, but it died. And I also tamed Flappy Bird. You'll meet him soon. So now I have an imprinted Omega Rex. Pumped in some levels and went on a killing spree. I took on my first demonic dino and farmed up some primals. With my new Omega eggs, I made the Celestial Kibble and found a Celestial Theory. A lot of shooting and running away. Some close calls, but I got her tamed up and tested out her abilities. I got tag teamed by a Primal and an Origin Raptor. I took on an Origin RG and unlocked some more tech. I killed an Origin Carno, yet more tech, and I needed some more feathers to make some more Celestial Kibble. So I threw out some Dark Parrots and murdered them all with my S+ gun and chainsawed up their bodies. I killed a skeletonized Tyrannosaur, which gave me both a Celestial and Demonic Soul. Nice. I took on an origin penguin. Didn't give me any tech though. Named my new fairy Halle Therry. I made some demonic kibble and found a demonic thorny dragon over by the redwoods. I used my primal rifle to knock it out and then tamed it up. I had a little test of its abilities before heading out on my fabled PT to go origin hunting. Killed a Carno and my first Megalodon. That unlocked some more tech items. Also gave me some nice levels for my new demonic friend. I couldn't find some of the origins that I needed, so I crafted them in the primal smithy. Let me introduce you to Flappy Wings, a buffoon terror bird and the preferred method of travel to get to Herbivore Island. I named my new friend Bella Thorny Dragon, and together we annihilated the Origin Rex. Easy. Next I made the Spino, and this took just one flick of Bella Thorny Dragon's tail.
Oh, you're so dead.
She was OP.
So dead.
We farmed some more primals and origins. Apparently, there is a lot of grinding. I'm feeling pretty badass with Bella Thorny Dragon, but there are still scary things out there. Ah, satisfying. So it's day 50. I'm officially halfway and I found a couple of artifactos. That gave me the artifacts I needed to make the last 2 origin summons I needed. The bear went down with ease. The wyvern took a little longer. I got some nice loot and Flappy Wings took us back home. Spike took out this forest titan with ease. And back at home I replaced these 2 damage gates at base. With all the origin trophies I had, it was time to make the first tier 2 boss. The demonic Reaper Empress summon. Caught a lift with Flappy Wings over to Herb Island and used Sky Shatter to spawn the Reaper Empress in the water. I switched over to Bella Thorny Dragon and absolutely destroyed the Empress. It gave me a tameable Reaper Empress summoner. Used the same tactic of spawning it in the ocean and used one of the origin arrows I had to knock it out. Tamed the Reaper and fed it a max XP potion. Now I'm doing some better damage. Rode Flappy Bird back home and went on another killing spree. Nice. Made a tech sleeping pod because I could and a tech gen to power it. I headed over to Carno Island and this time Captain Reptile joined me to defeat the Demon Reaper Empress again. We wrecked her face. But this time she dropped some better loot. So I stole the chest piece. Looking pretty good. Next boss is the Celestial Indom Rex. You guessed it, it's Flappy Bird time! And the Indom was demolished. Captain stole the loot but gave me the good bits from it. I got some new pants and a magical sword that summoned an aloe. We hopped onto Sky Shatter and summoned in the tameable version. I blindly shot an origin arrow hoping the Indom was there. Luckily it was, and it was a direct hit. The Indom went down and she was all mine. She has a cool AoE attack. Time to go on a killing spree. I named her BB Celestial Rexa. Parrots are so cute. Look away, kids. Keep looking away. More demonic kibble. Mwahahaha. I found Bella a boyfriend. I hit it with an origin arrow and eventually it went down. I gave it the kibble and I bored him up. You know what comes next? Cake by the ocean.
Giggity, 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 let's have sex.
Whilst I waited for the babies, Halle Therry and I went to the swamp to kill stuff. I was able to make the next boss summoner, the Chaos Guardian.
You got a monkey?
Captain came over to show me his monkey. I named my favoured PT Zoom Zoom, and we zoomed off to find a Celestial RG. That I missed the shot on and it killed me.
Oh, I'm gonna die, I'm dead.
I teleported Sky Shatter back to me and he was looking bloody, so I gave him a health potion. I went back and used the tested shoot and fly away method with the Primal rifle. Then he went right down into the path of some direwolves. Everything was attacking it, so I killed everything in the area, then placed down some gateways so I could trap him. I used some stimulant to wake him up and then I shot him in the butt with an origin arrow, till he went to sleep again. I gave him some kibble and now I have a Celestial RG. Back home, I finally had the perfect female demonic thorny dragon, and while she grew up, I gave my new celestial Argy a max level potion and took her out for a test drive. And boy was I impressed. I managed to kill a demonic Mesopithecus, but I needed to kill celestials for their souls. But the first one I came across was a high level Argy, so I decided to tame it instead. I tried to do it on foot. I was shooting, running, and getting shocked. Captain came to try and help me, but he shot me instead. As my torpor was rising and health was depleting, I finally died. But Captain got it down, so I swam as fast as I could to tame it up. Flappy Wings took us over to Herbivore Island, and I gave my new imprinted Bella Thorny Dragon a max XP potion, because it was time to do the next boss.
Yeah, 1.3 billion health.
Oh goddamn.
We're doing a good amount though, as long as we can keep him in this little section.
Oh god. Oh god. I can't see shit. Oh.
There he's down.
Hey!
Captain and I went hunting for Celestials for the next boss, the Spirit Guardian. Flappy Wings took me over to the island and I summoned it in. This boss was a lot harder to hit as she was flying everywhere and I couldn't get a clean hit. I was running around the island like a crazy duck, and then I didn't manage to kill all its minions in time and they yeeted me off the island. The fight got intense. I got absolutely battered in this little cove. I was so close to death, and in the last second I gave Bella Thorny Dragon a health potion and we lived to fight some more. Another yeet attempt, but I managed to stay on the island. This thing was so incredibly difficult to see, and then it charged over to my base. I teleported home into the heat of the battle. It killed my breeding pair of Thornies and yeeted me back into the ocean. Again and again. I got booped all over the place.
Oh, come on.
But I didn't give up, and I took advantage when it finally landed and took that sucker down. I replaced all my behemoth gates with the metal version for a little extra protection and made some ocean platforms because I was going to upgrade my base. I had to farm a ton of metal and saw a manticore chilling in the mountain, so I had to shoot this guy while he was stood still, made his kibble at home, and finally got a boss tamed up. And then I went back to farming. I spent the next few days building my monster base. I put down giant glass windows. I wanted to be able to see the beautiful landscape. I grinded to make so many walls and ceilings, and don't even get me talking about snap points. This took a long ass time. I put on most of the roof and then I started working on moving things. I made the tech crop plots and put them down with the gardener and all the things I would need for the crops. I knew I wanted a storage area, so that's what I started to map out next. I made dedicated storage boxes and placed them down and started the tedious task of naming all the boxes. It would be worth it though. Filled up on resources, then go to this post, give it a little smack, and it will send all the stuff in my inventory to the right boxes. I moved all the bigger things. There was a lot of organising, but I will save you from watching all of that. I went out for a morning hike with Bella Thorny Dragon and ran into a celestial Indominus Rex Emperor. He summoned in his minions, but that was no problem for Bella. I was also farming for demonic and celestial souls, so these skeletonized tyrannosaurs are amazing because they give you one of each. I saw the celestial baryonyx, but I thought I would tame it instead, so I got out Sky Shatter so I could shoot from the back of safety. I knocked him out, tamed him up, and I named him Brad Pitt. Just for you, Gamer K. Captain needed some sap, so we had a little bit of a trade. I took Brad Pitt out for a ride, we killed a bunch of stuff, and I tamed up a fabled Megachalon. I made a Chaos Orb, but needed some more feathers for the Spirit Orb. But to make the next boss, I needed some Origin tributes. I made the Wyvern and the Bear summon, then killed them both. I named my new imprinted Celestial Argy Farah. I had to kill an Artifacto, but then I could make Nova the Destroyer. I set up some Thorny Dragons and spawned in Nova the Destroyer. I could have done this solo, but seeing as my Thorny Dragons didn't have saddles on, they started to fall at the end. Your sacrifices will be remembered, my friends. I picked up the egg so I could get my very own Nova. Then together, Captain and I took on Pikkon the Creator, a giant skyfish. It fell to the ground. We got some cool tech armor with some cool buffs, but anytime we used the jetpack, the game crashed. So I used my old chess piece. I danced to help the egg hatch and had my very own Nova. I imprinted him, grew him up, and named him Novana. Captain came and dropped off the pikkon egg. I didn't even realise it dropped one, so thanks Cap. I hatched it up and had my very own little fishy. Well, big fishy by the time he grew up.
It's a giant fishy.
I made a primal force field to protect my base. You know, cause I'm too lazy to finish building it. I took Nirvana out for a test drive and dang, this thing is crazy. Trees in the way? No problem. This thing will clear everything. The only thing that puts me off with this guy is just how big it is. Bigger is not always better. I even struggled to take out this little spirit bee and I couldn't get this primal Carno with any of the attacks. Can't see because of the trees? No problem, just take them out. Captain had given me a baby Shinehorn, a little dipter of my own. I did some more farming with Bella and then tested out the giant fishy. This thing was huge.
Oh, dang.
Yep.
It had some crazy attacks that were blinding. It rained big blue balls of fire all around us. I spent days farming up origin tributes so I could create another Nova summoner. But first, I took out my new little demon goat friend. Look how cute he is. His attack is not too bad either. When flying around on Zoom Zoom, I saw this high-level skeletonized tyrannosaur, but I was on a mission to tame a celestial giga I had seen. Yup, that went well. Instead, I tamed another celestial Barry I found. Another death in the redwoods. Back home, I threw out Brad Pitt and named my new one Barry Styles. I made some transmitters so now I could search for Dino because I needed to tame bosses to progress to the last stage for Kibble. So I found a low-level Megapithecus to tame. Should be easy, right? At least I knocked it out. I found a low-level Manticore that I managed to shoot and run away. I put those bosses in the terminal with an Oviraptor so they could start generating eggs. There was a max-level Manticore on the map too, so I thought I would try my luck. Got him! And a few moments later he fell from the heavens like Lucifer himself. Then I went back for the pink Rex I saw on the mountain earlier. This guy was pretty slow, but he had some super cool attacks. This crazy powerful stomp even killed creatures in the caves below. I made the transformation item and fed it to my new pink friend. This guy looks amazing. Brad Pitt and Barry Styles had been busy, but Duck wasn't paying attention, so there was a stream of babies that had ventured out into the water. I came across this Reaper that killed Zoom Zoom. I went back with Novana and it killed me, so I went to the rescue with Pikkon. I found a celestial giga that I tamed up and never used. Let's go, Flappy Bird! Time to 1v1 a Nova with my Novana. I couldn't see anything in this battle, just pink splooge everywhere. Eventually, Nova ended up in the water, so out came Tyrene Calypso, and she power stomped Nova to death. This meant that I could use the Dissension item on Bella Thorny Dragon. She looks marvellous. My beautiful golden beast. Of course, I took her out for a test spin. I named this little guy Jason Shineborn, and I went out for a jolly. But it wasn't long until death found me. I searched on the transmitters and finally found an alpha broodmother. It was a bit of a cluster to get this thing down, but she did roll over and submit. Back home, I was going to look for a better griffin, and that's when I saw a celestial one had spawned, and close to my base too. I knocked it out, but this primal tech decided to have a nibble, so I had to kill it. Go back home, make a gate, trap the griffin, fed it some stimulant to wake it up, and then try to knock it out. Moments later, it was all mine. Now I have rider protection. I rode around to test its abilities. As I got home, there was a Chaos Manticore outside my base. No thank you. I spent the next few days farming origins, to farm Novas and then farm Pikkons. So after, I went out to tame another alpha boss. This is because I need the eggs to make apex boss kibble. As I was chilling, this Reaper dismounted me. In the chaos, I managed to pick up my celestial Argy. Then this mother trucker proceeded to chase me all the way into the redwoods. He is so fast. But now at least I had the eggs to make the apex boss kibble. So I went in search and tamed up an apex broodmother. Now that Sky Shatter was retired, I thought it was only fitting to give the OG a special dedication. So I placed a dermis of him on the roof. I also made one for Spike. Did a little bit of moonwalking on my celestial Argy that I named Sergeant. Gamer K told me to name the griffin Stewie. I got another apex brood mummy and spent more days farming whilst waiting for their eggs to generate in the terminal. I ran into this high level Dodo Rex. I ran away as I wanted to tame this up, and thank God I could make the highest level kibble, the Chaos Kibble. That Dodo Rex is mine. One arrow and he went into the water. I dove in to feed him that kibble and I had myself a Dodo Rex. I made a saddle and out we went. Anything that came near us started to take damage. I felt like a god. There is only so much farming I can show, so till day 85 I pretty much farmed for blood and Nova and Pikkon, ready for the next set of bosses. I was just chilling, flying around with Stewie, and found this spirit Dodo Wyvern, and thought this would be a perfect first spirit tame. I waited for him to fall down from the heavens and then balled him up. I spent the rest of the day going overboard and painting everything purple. I named my new wyvern Slayer. This thing is super cool. He looks awesome. I wonder what he would be like taking down a boss. I took him to fight Nova. It was going fine until he booped me off into the water. Not once, but twice. I couldn't pick him up, so after a long swim back to the shore, I threw out my Chaos Dodo Rex, and he finished the job. Back home, I painted my tech armor. The bug where it crashed the game had been fixed, so I can now use it. I took a trip to Kano Island and spawned in my first tier 6 boss, the Electric Colossus. I got kicked off my Dodo Rex and killed. I came back with Slayer my wyvern, but I got grounded. He electrocuted me. Slayer's stamina was draining, and I couldn't do anything. He's hurting me.
Ouch!
I eventually make an escape, but wanted to rescue my Chaos Rex. It was a dumb duck move to dismount, but that's what I did to try and save him. So out came Bella. Because I have rider protection with her, so I couldn't get dismounted. Plus, I could shoot from a distance, and that was the strat.
Pow! Right in the kitchen.
I think the big boy was running as he nearly stomped on me. He tried to hide, but he was just too big. It was too late, and the great beast fell. I pumped all the levels that Bella Thorny Dragon had got from that fight, and next up was the Ice Colossus. I spawned in the beast. Almost immediately I was dismounted and killed.
Oh, I dismounted. Why did I dismount? Why did I dismount?
I came back, he spawned in his minions to attack me.
What?
I was frozen, I couldn't do anything. The minions were absolutely destroying me, and I kept getting dismounted.
I'm dead.
I tried to get him from a distance, but one jump and he was on me.
Oh, I can't see a fucking thing.
I tried to run away to feed Bella a health potion.
Run away!
Had a Chaos Rex to kill and this Magmasaur when the Ice Giant saw me and sent his minions to kill me again.
No, don't freeze me.
Run
away, run away, no! It dismounted me.
Whoa.
Next time, I aimed some thorns into the ground as it does an AoE tick damage, and that was the strat to keep the minions from dismounting me. This was a very long battle, with lots of deaths and lots of damage numbers.
Oh my god.
It was just a fiery mess. I could barely see his outline with my spyglass. 5.5 billion health. This guy was a beast. I got dismounted and booped into the water. But many deaths later, he was starting to get bloody.
Look how bloody he is. It's gonna happen.
Kay was wrong.
It's not the one. It's not the one.
No, Kay, this was not the one. Finally, the
my
giant
God.
fell.
You did it.
Oh my god.
That was a tad scary.
Up next was the
Fire.
fire colossus. I got stuck on this rock golem and got absolutely battered.
If you need to teleport.
I did exactly what Kay suggested to get the hell out of there. It was a clickfest battle with the fire colossus. There was lots of fire and lots of explosions. I was running away, but tick damage from Bella must have been enough to kill him, because as I turned the corner, he was dead. I made a caustic dino treat for Bella so the next boss didn't do torpor to her. I spawned in the caustic colossus. I got in a couple of shots before I absolutely got battered again. I was cocooned. I fed a health potion as it stomped right over me. Shot it from a distance as its minions attacked. It tried to stomp on my head and swipe me, but I was persistent. In the end, he gave up and just stood there whilst Bella launched rockets at his face. And we had done it. All tier 6 bosses complete. Nice. I had to prepare for the arrival of Gamer K, as she was going to help me with the boss fight. So I made a loadout mannequin, painted it pink and named it for her. I picked out the best armor I had and filled the mannequin with things for her. Some arrows, a baby RG and Barry, some XP potions. I then went to find a wild K.
I see you.
It's really dangerous.
Yeah.
And I invited her to join the tribe.
Join me.
Stewie and I gave her a lift back to base. Kay got her stuff and was having fun with the tech armor.
Oh, you can't turn.
She then tech ran right out the base and right into a celestial dire bear.
Oh. K. K.
Yeah.
That's an origin bear. Not an origin bear, a celestial bear.
She grew up at RG and named it Annie. And the Barry, of course, is Brad.
There you
I
go.
gave her a Nova egg, she danced to help the process. I then hatched another Nova and named him Death Blossom and imprinted him. I made some demonic kibble as we had a mission to tame a demonic creature for Kay. We spent the rest of the day on our Novas killing stuffs. Kay and I got up early the next morning for some exercise. We danced, had some fun and did some moonwalking with our RGs. So we went out on the hunt for some demonic Dinopithecus. As usual, Kay got distracted and got into some trouble. She had run right into an origin wyvern. I have no idea why, but I was taking radiation damage. That's new, but it did kill me. I went back with Stewie and we took down the wyvern. There was also an origin dire bear that was aggroed to Kay, so we took that down. Finally, we were on our way to the mountain and found Kay's demonic Dinopithecus. Kay managed to shoot it with an origin arrow.
Ha! Hey, you got it.
And I gave her the kibble to tame it. She named it
Dinopithecus?
Like Princess Diana.
Look at all these eggs behind K.
Oh my dear lord. Kay, you have a problem.
It wasn't me.
If you've made it this far in the video, I just want to say a huge thank you for your support. And comment below, Kay has a poopy problem, just to confuse everyone else.
A little loose, K, a little loose.
It wasn't me.
Oh my god, look at all the poop behind you.
Let me take.
Back at home, the Kay poop continued.
My god, you're still pooping. Look at all this poop.
Then we headed to Kano Island to fight Nova. This was so Kay could get herself a dissension item for Dinopithecus. I have some at home, but I can't make it too easy for her.
Oh my god.
Uh-oh.
Goodbye, guys.
Bye.
No. The next day, Kay and I decided to go get some demonic parasaurs. So I searched for some high levels on the tech transmitter, and Kay decided she would hatch up and imprint her pikkon egg.
Here, fishy, fishy, fishy. Oh, fishy wants to go on a walk. Come here, fishy, fishy, fishy. No.
Yeah, fishy, 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 fishy!
Come here, fishy, 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 fishy.
You cold?
I also searched for another spirit Dodo wyvern, as Kay wanted one too. We flew into the snow towards the mountain when Kay found something that I quote, looks like fun.
That looks like fun.
So she shot at it with an origin arrow.
Got it!
And I went back home to make the kibble. I teleported back and Kay fed the spooner its kibble. And within seconds, she had it all tamed up. Good job, Kay. I watched as she killed an Origin Rex and I spotted the wyvern nearby. I took out its manticore friend and Kay jumped on the back of Stewie and we tried to fly near the wyvern to tame it up. But it was too difficult for Kay to shoot from the back as her visuals were limited. So I flew back to Blue Ob so she could try on her RG. I shot a few bullets into the wyvern to try and get its attention, but when I looked over, Kay had dismounted. It took me a few attempts to get it, but I eventually managed to stick it with an Origin arrow, and it went down. It only took us all bloody night. Kay ran under the fireworks and got her wyvern all tamed up. The next morning, Kay had ascended her RG. I had a look to see where the demonic paras were as I had forgot. We were in the general area, but this Origin RG aggroed to us, so we had to take it down. Kay managed to find it and I shot it with an Origin arrow. We waited for him to fall asleep, but when he did, this Primal Tech Parasaur thought we had caught him a lunch. I killed it, but the bleed damage from the Parasaur wound up killing him. We took out our frustrations on this Origin wyvern. We then found another Parasaur. I got him down eventually, but then this cheeky Dillo tried to have a nibble. I shot him with a primal rifle as I didn't want to risk hitting the Parasaur with Stewie. But luck was on our side, as it hadn't lost any taming effectiveness. We found another female, I shot her, but she decided to go down in the water. I sped over to tame her up whilst also fighting off piranhas. We got them back home and immediately started breeding. Over the next few days, Kay and I worked on breeding and levelling parasaurs as we were fast approaching the big 100. Kay levelled up her new broodmother that she named Mama Bear, and honestly, it was terrifying. I raised some extra novas in case we needed them for the final boss battle. Kay was having some technical difficulties with her tech suit, so she went to take a nap. I tried to help her out, and I had an idea.
Maybe I have an idea. Maybe
What?
you should just go kill yourself.
How rude.
So Kay went to go drown herself. She took off her helmet and I just
slowly died.
couldn't resist the urge. I shot her, then tried to drag her body out to the jellyfish, but it didn't go to plan and somehow I turned my world black and white. If you know what buttons I pressed,
What happened
please
to me?
let me know
What?
in the comments
Where's
below.
my screen gone like that?
We spent the next couple of days breeding parasaurs and getting everything ready for the final boss, and I made the summoner. Kay named all of our boss fighting parasaurs after Taylor Swift songs. Let me introduce you to the Swifties.
Lavender Haze, Red, Reputation, Shimmer, Bad Blood, Willow, Anti-Hero. Look what you made me do. Bejeweled, you need to calm down.
We got rid of all the boulders and trees and set up our little Swift army. And then it was time to spawn PIKKONS Revenge. He immediately rained down big blue balls of fire.
Oh my god.
Oh my dear freaking lord.
It's got novas. Oh my
Attack.
god, oh my god, oh my god.
Oh my god, guys, attack. I'm dead. Was killed by Bejeweled.
Oh my god. I'm getting smacked around.
Let me out, let me out.
Oh, Nova was killed. Where was Nova?
Oh.
Nowhere is safe.
Nowhere. Oh my god.
Oh,
Anti-hero's down. No. Cannot see a freaking thing. Oh, Bella.
nope.
Oh, Bella. 30 seconds. Can you shoot me?
I don't even know where you are, babe.
Oh no.
I can't shoot off a wyvern.
Run away, Bella. Are the parasaurs even attacking it? Where are the parasaurs?
No, they're all dead.
Oh no, the Swifties.
Oh no! I was killed by my wyvern.
Oh, Bella's got a lot of torpor. I don't know if I can keep using her.
So we went in on our novas.
Oh my.
I'm out of stam.
Oh my god, I've got reapers all over me.
Oh, he's so going down. They're Nova on me.
Yeah, I've got them as well.
Okay, that's it. Oh my god, I've been booped to the border.
Oh god.
Still going. Still going.
Oh!
Oh, 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 oh. We're gonna do it, we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it. Yes! Oh my god.